Shalom, giving all praises, glory, and honors unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Kakodash, double honors to the apostles, bishops, elders of Great Millstone, peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. This is your brother, Design One from GMS Atlanta, with another edifying video. And this report, this came out. Okay, well, this is as of yesterday. I think I got it this morning. So pretty much the legal issues of Trump are over for now, for his presidency. So it says Trump election case is tossed after special counsel Jack Smith requests dismissal, citing categorical DOJ, which is Department of Justice, policy. The judge left open the highly unlikely possibility of a future prosecution. So let me just jump right into this. All right. So it says the judge overseeing Donald Trump's election interference case dismissed the case on Monday after special counsel Jack Smith asked the judge to toss the case due to a long-standing Justice Department policy that bars the prosecution of a sitting president. And a lot of our people were, on the internet and making, posts and having their opinion on how they're going to let, because of the hurt, especially the so-called black woman, hurt over the the election loss of Kamala Harris. So pretty much, the sentiment is, how they're going to let a criminal in office. How is that going to work when he's just been indicted with so many felonies and all these things? And what you have to understand is, man, these elites, see, there's the government behind the government, the ruling power behind. And that's something that you have to not just say but you have to actively consider what's going on behind the scenes. They can do whatever the hell they want to do. They can do what they want to do. They can make up a law as they go. They can change things. You're given the illusion of choice, the illusion of law and order. Okay? This system does what it wants to do. You really think that they were going to sit there and have and put this man in prison? No. You're watching WWE at in real life. Cam was never going to win. See, everything is set up through the spirit. Okay? It's all ordained by Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So they're setting this guy up for January. Okay? So pretty much all the cases against this guy has been tossed out until a later date. Now it says Smith earlier Monday filed a motion to dismiss the case as well as the appeal of Trump's classified documents case ahead of Trump's impending inauguration due to the Department of Justice's presidential immunity policy and not because the charges lack merit. So it's not because he didn't have the charges, but it's because pretty much as he's a president, they can't do nothing. Or they're not going to do anything. Let's see here. His two co-defendants, now they're going to continue to be, their cases are still pending. So let me get the meat off of this bone, so to speak. U.S. District Court Judge Tanya Chutkan dismissed the election interference charges against Trump without prejudice, leaving open the highly unlikely possibility of a future prosecution. In a 2-page opinion, Judge Chutkin wrote that dismissing the case without prejudice is appropriate and would not harm the public interest, agreeing with Smith's argument that Trump's immunity would not cover him when he leaves office. So after 4 years of Trump being in office, then his is so pretty much it's like a hiatus, so to speak. Okay, but he has what's called immunity. It says dismissal without prejudice is also consistent with the government's understanding that the immunity afforded to a sitting president is temporary, expiring when they leave office, Chutkin wrote. However, it's extremely unlikely that any prosecutor would attempt to bring the same charges in the future, in part because the statute of limitations for the alleged crimes will have expired by the time Trump leaves office in 4 years. So pretty much the league said, nah, we're going to roll back everything. The hype train is over. The build up to WrestleMania. The hype train is over now. So now, they're going to put the belt on this guy. I'm just using that as an analogy. Because it's all theater. It's all theater, man. So, I'm looking at this, and I'm reading this article. It says Trump's lawyers did not oppose the government's motion to dismiss the case without prejudice. That prohibition is categorical and does not turn on the gravity of the crimes charged, the strength of the government's proof, or the merits of the prosecution, which the government stands fully behind, Smith stated in his motion to dismiss. So saying that, the charges still are he still charges, but with him going into the presidency, they've dismissed it based upon the Department of Justice. It says the country has never faced the circumstance here where a federal indictment against a private citizen has been returned by a grand jury and a criminal prosecution is already underway when the defendant is elected president. The motion says, see, this has never been done before, right? When you have a leader like Trump, a president here in America, and he got charges on him. So they just dismissed it. It says, after careful consideration, the department has determined that the OLC's prior opinions concerning the Constitution's prohibition on federal indictment and prosecution of a sitting president apply to this situation, and that as a result, this prosecution must be dismissed before the defendant is inaugurated. So yeah, this is all set up. But this is not the first world leader that had charges on him. And this guy is Nero. This guy, DJ Trump, Donald Trump, is the reincarnation of the Emperor Nero of Rome, all over again. Okay, because I was reading this and I was like, you know what? This sounds just like Nero Caesar. Okay. The same type of situation, criminal situation that Trump is going through, that's the same thing that Emperor Nero went through in the past. Among all the other reasons that we here at GMS believe that this guy Trump is Nero. So now, this is from thoughtco.com, and it says profile of the Roman Emperor Nero, right? And then look, who's this right here? It looks like DJ Trump. Tell me that doesn't look like Donald Trump. Now, this article came out in 2018. Here. So, I'm just pulling up information. Okay? If you can receive it, if you can receive the reincarnation, then, you know, good. You know, if your eyes are open, right? So this guy, Caesar, Nero, Nero Caesar, was pretty much a criminal as well. So let me go to this. So it says Nero was the last of the Julio Claudians, that most important family of Rome that produced the first 5 emperors: Augustus, Tiberius, Caligula, Claudius, and Nero. So Nero was the last of the Julio Claudio dynasty of Roman emperors, and he could very well be the last U.S. president before Yahweh Bashar Shah judges Esau in this system. So it's all lining up. Everything's lining up through the spirit. It says Nero is famed for watching while Rome burned, uh, which some equate that to what happened on January 6, 2021. Then using the devastated area for his own luxurious palace, and we know that Trump is known for his real estate ventures. And then blaming the conflagration on the Christians whom he persecuted. And Trump's policies that he wants to enact, he wants to persecute the Israelites. You know, starting with these immigrants, which will lead to what? The persecution of us preaching this truth. Okay, Jacob's trouble. It says while his predecessor Claudius was accused of letting enslaved people guide his policy, Nero was accused of letting the women in his life, especially his mother, guide his. This wasn't considered an improvement. So that's just some things on Nero, right? I'm not saying everything is a mirror copy, all right? But just more, information. So let's see here. Nero's career. Nero might have had a successful career as an entertainer, but that was not to be, at least officially. And this guy Trump is definitely an entertainer. He's a celebrity. He's a reality television star / entertainer. He's appeared on various, throughout the 80s, 90s, 2000s. He's a well-known public figure. Okay? But he's also now a politician. It says under Claudius, Nero pleaded cases in the forum and was given opportunities to ingratiate himself with the Roman people. All right, let me see what this word ingratiate means. Just real quick, look it up. Let me see, ingratiate. Bring oneself into favor with someone by flattering or trying to please them. Yeah, so that's Trump. That's this guy. Nero pleaded cases in the forum and was given opportunities to ingratiate himself with the Roman people, and that's what he does. He pleads the people's cause. He's very popular with this guy Trump. He's very popular with the American people, so-called white and black. Rappers rapped about him, wanted that Trump money. You talk about Gates money, okay? So it says when Claudius died, Nero was 17. He presented himself to the palace guard, who pronounced him emperor. Nero then went to the Senate, which gave him the appropriate imperial titles. As emperor, Nero served as consul 4 times. And Trump has ran for president, 3 times, right? He won in 2016. He ran against Biden in 2020, lost, and then this time around, he ran against Kamala and won. So this is his third time. You know. Um, Nero reduced heavy taxes and fees paid to informers. He gave salaries to impoverished senators. Yeah, we know he's very, this guy's generous with money. All right, he's a businessman first and foremost, and America's a business. All right, stimulus packages or stimulus checks during his administration. All right, I'll say that. Uh, he introduced certain fire preventing and firefighting innovations. Suetonius says Nero devised a method of forgery prevention. Nero also replaced public banquets with grain distribution. His response to people criticizing his artistic skills was mild. So yeah, this guy's Trump. But this is what I want to get to. Some charges against Nero. So this guy also had criminal charges on him while he was ruling. Some of Nero's infamous acts, which led to rebellion in the provinces, and the prophecy says in these last days there's going to be rebellions and uproars of the people around the world and even here in America. So it says it included inflicting punishments on Christians and blaming them for the devastating fire in Rome. All right, perversions, marauding, and unaliving Roman citizens. Okay, so and this guy is and we can see the Lord, turn this guy Trump up to where he really, starts to persecute this truth, the believers in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. He's definitely gonna persecute, because the Christians are Israelites, by the way. All right, it's not talking about the Roman white citizens. No, it's talking about the Christians are talking about the so-called black Israelites that were believing in Yahweh Shai in the past. Okay, and then you had the believers that were in the Gentile state of mind, right? Israelite foreigners, okay, which were coming back to the understanding that they are Israelites, and that's what's happening today. So everything is reincarnated. Everything is happening all over again. Okay, it says building the extravagant Domus Aurea Golden House, right? Which Trump once again known for his real estate projects, Mar-a-Lago down in Florida. Okay. Different businesses. Okay, Trump Tower. He's a real estate mogul. So everything that Nero was in the past, that's everything that Trump is today. It says charging citizens with treason to confiscate their property, unaliving his mother and aunt, and causing or at least performing while watching the burning of Rome. So these are his charges. It says Nero gained notoriety for inappropriately performing. It is said that as he died, Nero lamented that the world was losing their artists. And that's that's pretty much Trump's claim to fame, as being a public celebrity. But see, in the past, well, I'll read it here. This is under the death of Nero. Nero committed suicide before he could be captured and flogged to death. Yeah, so he was basically a criminal, and they wanted to lock him up, capture him. But this time around, right, in this lifetime, he's gotten his cases dismissed while he's going into the presidency. Okay? So you see how the spirit works? It says revolts in Gaul and Spain had promised to bring Nero's reign to an end. And that's pretty much the sentiment of certain people here in America. They want to bring Trump's reign to an end. These people didn't want this guy to win the election. It says almost all his staff deserted him. Nero tried to unalive himself, but required the assistance of his scribe, Epaphroditus, all right, to stab himself in the neck. Nero died at the age of 32. All right, but this time around, this guy's is alive and kicking. Okay, and we believe that he's going to be the one, the president, to introduce the CBDC digital currency, um, the MOTB micro C hip implant, right? The mark, uh, and be dragged into war. This Third World War, or what's known in the scriptures as the War of Armageddon. Um, of course, we also believe that this guy's going to, sometime in the near future, persecute this truth heavily. Because, we're out there on the highways and the hedges. The different Israelite groups are out there pushing this word, and everything that's written in Bible prophecies coming to pass. And that's a thorn in the side of the elites. So this guy, I believe, is set up to bring the persecution and Jacob's trouble further to pass. All right, for us Israelites. And then of course, with the coming destruction. So we believe that especially with him having 4 years, who knows when the Lord is going to make particular prophecies come to pass and have things happen. But we believe that it could be within this presidency that we can see the destruction of Babylon the Great and the salvation of the elect, which is what? During the return of Yahweh Shai. So us of the hopeful elect, we can see things in the spirit of what's, being lined up. Right? And if the scripture says, there's no, matter of fact, let me get that scripture. Ecclesiastes, first chapter, that there's no new thing under the sun. Right? So this is Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and 9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be. Okay? And that thing is man. Okay? People are reincarnated. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. So everything, societies and people are reincarnated, all right? Kingdoms and societies are reincarnated because the people that built these societies and built these cities and places and kingdoms are reincarnated. So they come back with the same ideas. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It had already been of old time, which was before us. Okay, so everything that's happening now already happened before. All right, it says there is no remembrance of former things. So while you got people saying, oh, well, there's no such thing as reincarnation, well, you just don't remember. It says, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. So that's just something that's programmed. Once we live one lifetime and we go back to the spirit world, the Lord sends us back after 3 or 4 generations, back into a new body with new parents, and there's no remembrance of our past life. All right, but there are clues, okay, or there are spiritual clues to the past in the present. All right, even when you go to, 1 Corinthians 14, it says that the prophets are going to come back as prophets. Okay? Yep. 1 Corinthians 14:32. And the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets. So if you was a prophet in the past, you're going to be a prophet in these times, in these last days. If you were a ruler in the past, then you're going to come back as a ruler in some capacity today. Okay? Just like when you read in the book of Malachi about the Lord sending back Elijah. Elijah came back reincarnated as John the Baptist, and then got reincarnated again. And this, in these times, is uh, high priest elder Albert Bivens. Malachi 4:5. Behold, I will send you Elijah, the prophet. And I just read that the prophets are subject to the prophets. So Elijah came back as a prophet. All right. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord, which he came back as Albert Bivens. To do what? It says that he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. So now you have this Hebrew Israelite knowledge of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, not just Old Testament, but New Testament as well. All right, speaking on Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, which is grown all over the earth in these last days. Okay, so it's very evident that reincarnation is a part of um, history, right? And it's a spiritual truth. Okay, so I wanted to speak on this guy Trump and the fact that they've dismissed his case so he can be officially inaugurated in January, and that just lined up with the history of the charges that Nero had. Not that they were the same charges, but that he was like a rebellious Caesar, during the time of ancient Rome, and Trump is the same way today. Okay. So that's the news on this case, these federal charges or these felony charges against Trump. They pretty much dismissed it because like they talked about the statutes of limitations and things like that. So but we'll see what happens. We walk by faith, not by sight. So of course it all starts with our belief of what's going to happen. But these are just things that are lined up in the spirit. So all that crying about Trump being a felony and he's a president and what happened with the election, especially our people, our women, and certain of our men too. Stop the boo-hoo crying. Stop the blood clot crying. Okay? We're in a time of Bible prophecy coming to pass. And, really to be honest, this place is through. Okay? So, anyway, with that, all praise goes to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem, Kakadash, Shalom.